Hey everyone, it's me, Matt. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had an amazing week, and I hope you're ready to hang out with me today because in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a tour of my backyard garden. So let's get into it. Really quick, before we head into my backyard, I wanted to give you an update on my front porch orchid. It was all budded up in last week's front garden tour video, but it finally started blooming a few days ago. It's looking so great. These flowers are the most beautiful magenta color, and I'm so excited for these bloom spikes to completely open over the next few weeks. And then making our way into my backyard, I wanted to update you on my newly planted side yard native wildflower garden. This garden is about 3 weeks old now, and I'm thrilled with how everything is settling in. You can see everything is still blooming, and I'm still really loving how this project turned out. One of my favorite plant varieties in this area are the Stokes asters. I love their huge bluish purple blooms. They really add a bright pop of color into this space. And then another favorite has also been the pink beard tongue plants. They're so showy with their tall stalks of soft pink blooms. I also wanted to show you my calamint plant. It's really bloomed a ton since I planted it. Check out all of these flowers. This plant is loving this area, and it's supposed to easily double in size once it's full grown. I'm also really liking the black-eyed Susan flowers. They add a really vibrant yellow into this garden bed. The cool thing, these are a northern ecotype and they've got much larger blooms than the traditional black-eyed Susan flowers found throughout most of Florida. Looking over here toward the back of the space, I wanted to highlight my purple passion flower vine. I can't believe how fast it's growing. You might be able to see that I started weaving the vines through my low wooden fence. Pretty soon, this entire fence will be covered by the vines. And then moving to the other side of my wooden fence, you can see my first of two banana groves. This one is only about a year old, and as I've mentioned in a prior video, I started this banana grove from pups that a friend gave me from their garden. I believe these banana plants are the dwarf Cavendish variety, which is the same as my more mature banana grove planted on the other side of my back patio. We're going to be taking a look at that banana grove too in just a minute. Looking across the walkway here, you can see my main fruit and vegetable garden area. I've got a watermelon vine planted back toward the grass line. There's a zucchini plant, a cantaloupe vine, and quite a few in-ground pineapple plants too. The first thing I wanted to call out in this space is the missing pineapple on this pineapple plant. Some of you may remember it from past videos. It broke off prematurely during a windstorm. I took it inside and let it ripen on the kitchen counter, but it was so tiny there wasn't much fruit. It was only about the size of an apple, but it was still sweet and delicious. And then if you look here on the side of the pineapple plant, you can see a pup has already started growing to replace the mother plant. In the next few days, I'll break off this pup and root it in some soil, and then I'll remove the mother plant from this bed since it's spent, making room for me to plant another pineapple plant propagation. Looking at my icebox watermelon vine next, you can see it's gotten pretty big. It's vined out quite a bit. It has flowered a few times, but it hasn't started to fruit yet. I think the problem has been lack of pollinators in this space. They still haven't really found this area of my garden, which was part of the reason why I installed my new native wildflower garden nearby. I needed to give the pollinators a reason to hang out in this area. Looking next at my zucchini plant, this is my second attempt at a zucchini this season. My first one got pretty big, but struggled with powdery mildew and eventually succumbed to the fungal pressure. I started this second plant from seed, and I've been really good about spraying it proactively with fungicide on a weekly basis, and so far there hasn't been any signs of disease. The last plant I wanted to show you in this garden bed is my cantaloupe plant. Same story as my zucchini. This is my second attempt. The first one succumbed to powdery mildew as well. I've also been proactively treating this one with fungicide spray, and so far there haven't been any signs of disease pressure. And then coming around onto my patio area, I wanted to quickly highlight my San Marzano tomato and broccoli plants. These were all started from seed about a year ago. They're definitely recovering from the hot summer months. My tomato plants actually started putting on some new growth over the last few weeks. And then looking at my broccoli plants, I'm honestly shocked that they're still alive. They haven't produced any broccoli yet. They should have bolted by now. They're really leggy at this point, but I'm in it for the long haul with these plants. Hopefully I'll get some broccoli off them this fall. Taking a step back, I wanted to give you a wide shot of my back patio. Everything is so lush and tropical right now. The tall red-leaved plants in the back are called Hawaiian tea plants, and I can't wait for them to bloom later this fall. And then I've got my three plumeria trees tucked around my lounge chairs. My yellow and white trees bloom this summer. Their flowers are so fragrant, they smell like gardenias. And then over here, you can see some more of my tropical plants looking great. I've got a fiddle leaf fig in the back corner and a philodendron and monstera toward the front. I also wanted to give you a close-up of my summer patio containers. They're still going for it. I've got Paintus flowers, Angelonia, Dichondra, and Juncus. This one here has more blooms compared to the three between my lounge chairs. The plumeria leaf canopy has gotten so thick, they're casting too much shade on the containers, so they're not blooming as profusely, but the plants are all still looking really good. And then I literally just noticed a volunteer Terrania plant growing in this container. I used to have pink Terranias in this container last summer, and it looks like one self-seeded. The funny thing is, I swapped out the soil in this container, but salvaged the Juncus plant from the previous arrangement. So the Terrania seeds must have found their way back into this container from the root ball of the salvaged Juncus. Turning to the left of my patio, you'll see my mature banana grove. I know I've said it in past videos, but I actually started this banana grove with only 3 trees about 7 years ago. They've really multiplied and filled in the space. I love their structure. They really give my backyard a tropical vibe. Moving over to my fire pit area, I'm still so happy with how this renovation project turned out. I love that I was able to reclaim this area of my backyard. I'm really looking forward to the cooler weather this fall so I can have friends over and use my fire pit. Taking a closer look at the Hawaiian tea plants between my Adirondack chairs, I wanted to update you on the cuttings I propagated from the tea plants around my back patio. They survived and rooted in over the last few months. They're looking really good, and the best part is I saved myself about $60 since I was able to successfully propagate them instead of buying new plants from the garden center. Moving into my back shade garden area next, you can see just how big my mammoth elephant ear plant has gotten. It's easily 6 feet tall. And then looking down at its base, you can see it's blooming. It's actually been blooming for the last 3 to 4 weeks. These flowers are huge. They kind of remind me of giant peace lilies. Looking behind and around my mammoth elephant ear plant, you can see all my white and purple impatient plants that I transplanted from my front porch seasonal flower bed a few months back. They've really grown in and rebounded in this space, although I have noticed recently they aren't blooming as profusely and some are looking a little leggy, so I might come in here and prune them back in the next few weeks to encourage bushier growth and more blooms. Actually, coming in for a closer look, some of these plants have started to push some new growth from their bases, so maybe I won't need to come in here and prune these plants back after all. Next, I wanted to highlight my white angel wing begonias. They aren't in bloom at the moment, but their foliage is looking amazing. These plants have been pest and disease free all summer long, unlike my other begonia varieties and hostas that I planted at the same time. It was a losing battle with the slugs. They completely destroyed my white wax begonias and double up white begonias, and then I was limping my hostas along all summer, but then I was a few weeks late reapplying a follow-up application of bug and slug killer, and the slugs completely destroyed my hostas too. Another plant I wanted to update you on are my caladium plants. They've started to fizzle out after putting on an amazing show this summer. Actually, these ones over here are still looking pretty good. These plants have been really low maintenance, and I've really enjoyed the color and texture that they've added to this space. Here in Florida, once nighttime temperatures dip below 65 degrees, the caladium plant foliage will die back completely to the ground, and their tubers will go dormant through the winter months, but they should all return in early spring around the March-April timeframe. If you live in a colder zone, you might need to dig up and store your caladium tubers, but here in Central Florida Zone 10, we can leave them in the ground during the winter months. Overall, I've learned a lot with this new shade garden area. I definitely know what works and doesn't work for me. In the spring, I plan to add more angel wing begonias and patience and caladiums into this space. Those plants have all been trouble-free and performed really well in this area of my yard. So that's going to do it for my backyard garden tour. I'm so happy with how everything performed this summer. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can hang out with me in future videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.